yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
This is Talk Radio, WCZN.
1819 News.
The ruling has been issued against the state of Alabama by a 3-judge panel. The judges ruled in favor of liberal activist groups who are seeking to stop the implementation of a 2023 congressional map for the upcoming special primary election and the November general election. The 3-judge panel consists of Judges Stanley Marcus, Anna Manasco, and Terry Moorer. The judges determined that timing played a major part in their decision and the effort to forestall a logistically impossible voter reassignment effort. The attorneys for the state of Alabama argued that the recent Supreme Court ruling in Louisiana versus Calais allowed for this state to no longer use the court-ordered map in 2024 since it was deemed unconstitutional. The state is likely going to appeal the judge's decision to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals so that the special primary election can go forward in August of this year that was recently authorized in a special legislative session. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Did you know that 70% of people experience a potentially traumatic event in their lifetime, and that 6 out of every 100 adults face PTSD every day? Help us bring hope to these survivors by signing up for your Alabama Distinctive PTSD Awareness license plate today. The great thing is you can sign up no matter when your current plate renews, and the first year is complimentary. All you need is your VIN number on hand. Drive awareness, drive hope, and customize your plate today at atease.org.
Jefferson Shredding and Recycling LLC is planning to bring a metal recycling plant to Mobile County. The Mobile Chamber of Commerce announced the $22.4 million project, which will be placed near Calvert and bring 15 new jobs to the area. Jefferson Shredding will be working in the same location as Otokumpu's recycling facility, which also uses recycled materials to produce stainless steel. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This is Talk Radio, WCZN.
In the market for a new or used car? Look no further than Hyundai of Decatur. With a large inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned Hyundai models, Greenway Hyundai of Decatur is here to service all of your Hyundai needs. Come visit our exceptional service department as well. With state-of-the-art facilities and a caring team of automotive professionals waiting to service your vehicle, make Hyundai of Decatur your #1 choice for all your automotive needs. Give them a call today at 256-274-0279 or visit them online at greenwayhyundaiofdecatur.com.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
AL cert number 21014.
Welcome into the hottest and coolest game show around called The Freeze. Today's contestant, Bob. Bob, can you tell me the heating and air business that provides free service with repair?
Is it Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
Can you tell me which heating and air business provides free second opinions?
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning.
You are a grand prize winner. You have won a visit from the #1 heating and air business in the Tennessee Valley.
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
That's right. Talent Heating and Air is coming to you.
This is Thomas with Talent Heating and Air Conditioning, and you don't have to win a game show to use us. We have free second opinions year-round, and this summer we're doing free service calls with a repair. So just remember, call Talent Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-503-4490 or visit us on our website at talenthvac.com.
Cummins has kept the world running for more than 100 years. Since their founding in 1919, Cummins has been dedicated to leading the charge towards a future with smarter, cleaner power. Cummins sales and service locations are right where you need them when you need your engine or generator set service. And now, Cummins has a new Huntsville branch opening June 10th. They're located on Highway 31 in Tanner, just north of Calhoun College. Cummins expert technicians will keep you up and running. Call them at 205-808-2210.
your Fox 54 update.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy, overcast sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms are going to remain possible across the Tennessee Valley. That sort of activity is going to stay in the forecast through the afternoon, the evening, and then even as we head into the overnight. Rinse and repeat for your Wednesday. A mostly cloudy, overcast sky. Temperatures upper 70s, lower 80s with scattered showers.
Your Fox 54 forecast. Only on Talk Radio WZZN. This is The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN. A compassionate, conservative, reasoned voice. Not just for today's headlines, but for issues that matter to you. Perspective from a distinguished career of service in the U.S. Army. Courage from hours in the pilot seat of a military helicopter in war and in peace. Knowledge of cultures from around the world. Experience from a lifetime of service to America. What matters to you, from the dinner table to the halls of power. Conservative, compassionate, reason. That's The Point.
Welcome, fellow Alabama friends, citizens, and patriots. It is not Monday, it is Tuesday, May 26th. Hope everybody had a great Memorial Day. This is The Point with Bill Crawford, along with producer extraordinaire Brian Temple. And also, Miss Kenesha Dees was gracious enough to slip her schedule to today. Kenesha, how are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing well. I'm doing well and happy to be back with you, gentlemen.
Well, we are too. Tell me a little bit about your Memorial Day weekend.
Well, I worked on yes, I didn't have a day off, but that's okay because a week prior, I had a whole week off the week before.
You know, I always love working holidays when working in television. It's nice and quiet. I mean, for crying out loud, you got a job you love without a manager breathing over your shoulder. It's a great day.
I know. Well, surprisingly, he was in too. So some of us were off, some of us were on. You know, some people take it for the team and work on the holidays, and others take time off, as we all deserve. But it was a pretty rainy day, I might say, as well as it being Memorial Day.
I think Jordan Dressman must have taken the day off because he probably hid somewhere with the weather he gave us this weekend. We did on Saturday. We had not a sunny day, but at least a day where it didn't pour down rain. And my son and his wife and little granddaughter Lily came over, and we had our Memorial Day cookout. And son and I did get a little wet in the pool, but it was chilly.
Oh, well, it seems like you all had fun.
We had fun, and then Sunday and Monday, obviously we weren't here Monday, but it was a good day to watch Memorial Day movies in the rain, because that's what it did. Was it rained and rained and rained. So any big stories that you covered yesterday, or was it fairly quiet?
Oh, surprisingly, we had a pretty stacked show. I'm speaking newsroom now. When I say stacked, that means for those of you listening out there, we had a lot to add to our show, considering it was a holiday. But I will say, even though I worked, it was good to see rain or shine people out there paying tribute to those who did sacrifice their lives for our country. There was the annual Cotton Row Run that they have in downtown Huntsville, and I believe about almost 4,700 people showed up.
Right.
Yeah, that was huge. I've always wanted to participate in it myself. Maybe one of these years I will, but it was so good to see outpouring of support from the runners. And then you have throughout the Tennessee Valley, people paying tribute. I believe Gunnersville, there was a tribute for the Gold Star families. One of our reporters was out there. And then also in Florence, they had a wall of remembrance that was pretty cool. We had another reporter out there to cover that. So just seeing the widespread commemoration for those who died it's expected, but I really, really got to see it all throughout the Tennessee Valley yesterday.
Well, and there were I saw lots of Memorial Day celebrations observances that were happening throughout the country. And the other day we had a gentleman on the show who was a member of of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, which is the ceremonial regiment in Washington, D.C. And he told me something that I thought was fascinating, but he did it. He commanded the unit up there, and he said they put out 40,000 Americans. There's a flag on every grave in Arlington Cemetery Memorial Day weekend. And I saw some news clips of the soldiers putting those in the ground. And, that when you think about that, that's not some kind of machine like you can use to plant peppers or something like that. You got to go put those out there in the ground one at a time.
And then they salute the headstone.
Right. After they put
place
it
a
in.
flag, salute the headstone, and move.
Yeah.
All day and all night.
All day and all night. So
it's always the respect that moves me, that, it just brings chills and makes the hairs on your head stand, because, these folks, they really sacrifice their lives. And all of us know someone, even you yourself serving in the military. We know someone close to us. My father served in the military. So he wasn't active duty, but we know someone that has that connection. And so especially those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, which is their life, it's always it's moving, very emotional and very touching.
Oh, and that is one thing that a lot of people have a little bit of trouble discriminating against, and that is Veterans Day versus Memorial Day. And it's a real easy way to remember those two, and that is this. Veterans Day recognizes everybody who served in the military.
Right.
And Memorial Day recognizes those who, as you said, gave all. And the little slogan that I always use to remember Memorial Day is this: all gave some gave all. And one of the entities, a friend of mine named Steve Dwyer and his wife Gail, they have a charity called their last name Dwyer Fire. And Steve and Gail lost their son in a helicopter crash during one of the wars. He was the pilot doing a refueling exercise in combat, and it went awry. And they have their foundation is for Gold Star families, and what it's for is for their son Steve was an excellent athlete at West Point, and their foundation is for people who have kids who want to excel or play sports and may not have the funds to do that, and they will give them the funds to do whatever they need to do. And I actually personally support that charity. So, Memorial Day, it's, everybody says, hey, let's have fun. And that's part of it. That's totally okay. But there is a little observance that needs to happen. And you're right, a lot did happen over the weekend. So we got a lot of news to get to today, but one thing I did want to mention before we go into the news, probably after the break, is something's going on in downtown Huntsville tomorrow. Brian and Kenesha and I were trying to figure it out, but tomorrow from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m., a lot of the downtown roads are going to be closed. Clinton Avenue will have no access to Jefferson, Spraguen's no access to Spring, Fountain Circle closed just past City Hall parking garage. Gates Avenue, no access to Madison Street. Gates and Franklin, no access onto Franklin Street. And Green Street, no access to Eustis Avenue. So we think, there's going to be a dedication of a new courthouse tomorrow?
It's either that or I got to thinking about that while we were going through the first part of the shows here. It's either that or they're moving stuff over to the new courthouse from downtown. So, and a lot of that stuff needs to be, big trucks rolling through, and a lot of that stuff, all those files and everything, that's personal information. That has to be handled securely. So maybe that's what they're doing, is trying to expedite that, especially since they're doing it like from 5 to 8 in the morning.
Well, I don't think it's a VIP visit, because I don't know many VIPs that come around that early in the morning.
Well, and in my note tabs here, email this morning, I didn't see anything about any VIP movement. So,
but that's a great speculation, though, Brian. That's a good one.
Every now and then I'll pull one out.
Well, it's a greater speculation when you think about that being done. If they're moving files, that's government people moving those files, and they ain't going to do it on the weekend, and they ain't going to do it on holidays.
Well, going by there, I'm interested to see. I've seen a couple of pictures from the inside, but it looks like an impressive facility to build up there. I just remember that spot being the old mental health center up there on top of the hill over there near where that Publix is downtown at Twickenham.
Twickenham, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's a really great-looking building. And going back to, it had to be like 2 or 3 months ago, we spoke to an architect, about designing buildings for downtown and things like that, and just having that to make the structure fit its use. And I think they do. I think they nailed it. It looks great.
It does look great. So speaking of looking great, let's go ahead and look great and keep on time for our first break. And when we come back, Kanisha and I have lots of new stuff to talk about, without a doubt.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
Bill Crawford here for the Regenesis Stem Cell Center, the place to go for golfers' elbow pain. Traditional treatments require significant time away from the golf course and often don't work. Dr. Charles Lee can treat golfers' elbow using platelet-rich plasma extracted from the patient's blood and get you back on the golf course after a 2-hour visit. Golfers' elbow can be permanently eliminated for a fixed price of $585. Golf season is here. Enjoy pain-free golf with just one visit to Regenesis.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the Valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. I know your accident is the real thing, and they happen to real people.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. There's a lot of talk right now about bigger, but when you've had a wreck, is bigger better?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. Do you want to be just a case number?
With offices in Huntsville and Scottsboro, we take the time to help.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hey, I'm Bobby White, and our employee pricing for everyone is in high gear right now at Lynn Layton Ford in Decatur. That's right, everyone in the Tennessee Valley can get our special Ford employee pricing on over 280 available new Fords. Save up to $15,000 off MSRP on remaining new 25 F-150s and up to $8,000 off MSRP on new 25 Broncos. With your good credit, you can save thousands with financing as low as 0% on select new models. And always remember, Lynn Layton Ford will never charge you any mysterious dock fee or some hidden markup. It's simple. You pay what we pay on 280 new Fords. That's right, $15,000 off MSRP on new 25 F-150s. $8,000 off MSRP on new 25 Broncos, or lock in 0% financing on select new models. Come see us at Lynn Layton Ford, right in the heart of Ford country, just a mile south of the Beltline in Decatur, or online anytime at lynnlaytonford.com.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
Have you tried indoor golf yet? You need to check out The Golfus. The Golfus is Huntsville's newest, nicest, and only multi-location indoor golf venue. Spend an hour on the virtual range working on your game or play more than 2,000 golf courses. Our grand opening pricing makes us the best value in town. And if you really love it, grab a limited time, unlimited golf membership for only $99 a month. Get all of the details at thegolfus.com.
Your home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas is Talk Radio WZZN.
Welcome back, everybody. It is a lovely day outside. It is Tuesday, May 26th, the day after Memorial Day. Hope everybody did something to remember those who gave all during Memorial Day. We're joined here today in studio by Fox 54's most impressive news anchor, Miss Kenesha Dees.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Kenesha. Well, folks, let me tell you something. If you turned your TV on after May 19th, guess what you got to see again? You got to see Progressive Insurance commercials. You got to see Geico commercials. You got to see commercials for all the many medications that are advertised nowadays. But guess what kind of went away?
Those campaign ads.
Those campaign ads went away, and I am so glad that they are gone. And you know, some of them actually were, they got kind of nasty. And, I've been around this state for quite some time, and I do believe those were some of the nastiest ads I've ever seen. And I actually went to an event the other day, the Saturday before the election, and House District 20, Mo Brooks versus James Lomax. Mm-hmm. If they would have had boxing gloves, they would have put them on. It was just nasty. Very heated. Mr. Lomax ended up beating Mr. Brooks by about 60% of the vote. But guess what, Kenesha? There's more to come.
There's more. And when we were talking, we were going through the candidates together for both Republican and Democrats. I know on the Republican side for that just for that seat, I'll just say for that seat, you had called it for Lomax. I know you said you had called it. So, and he secured it.
Well, I didn't call many of those races, but that was one that I had paid particular attention to, and I thought it was going to come out that way. But some of the other ones that are most interesting, as an example, our governor's race. Mm-hmm. The Republican nominee was pretty much decided probably before it happened. Tommy Tuberville had 85% of the vote, and his closest competitor had 9% of the vote.
Well, they've already been calling him governor, so.
Well, you know, the interesting thing is, though, when you look at the Democratic side of it, Doug Jones garnered almost 300,000 votes, and Tuberville got 421,000. So what does that mean? Does that mean it's an automatic win for Tuberville? I don't know. I know this. It's kind of interesting because it's a rematch of the Senate race.
It is. And what's so interesting about that is the seat that Tuberville is in now as U.S. Senator was the seat that Doug Jones had before the 2020 election, which is when Tuberville won that seat. So yes, just to emphasize your point, it's a rematch except for the governor's seat. That's so interesting.
Well, you know what's interesting to me about something like that is how during these political races, it's political races, hiring of college football coaches, hiring of pro football coaches, the same names always tend to surface. You know, it's like, are these the only people that want to do this for a living? But it's always just like I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Casablanca with Humphrey Bogart, where at the end they're trying to find the bad guys and the French cop says, round up all the usual suspects. And we've rounded up all the usual suspects. But some of the other ones you were mentioning, like in the lieutenant governor's race, which that is between John Wall and Wes Allen. And as of 99% of the votes being in, John Wall has 40% and Wes Allen has 38%. And that is going to a runoff, and I can't tell you. I have no idea who's going to win that race.
Yeah, it's a tight one. I mean, you have Wes Allen, who's Secretary of State, John Wall, a familiar face within the Republican Party. I know he was, I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but he was the youngest to serve, as the chair for the Alabama Republican Party. So he's, from what I understand, he's pretty young for the seat that he's running for. And he's had quite a presence here in Alabama. So I'm interested to see that. And then as we continue to talk about the runoff race, specifically with the Republican Party, the Senate race with Barry Moore and Jared Hudson. That's also a runoff.
Well, one little interesting factoid about John Wall and Wes Allen that I think is going to come to, well, it's already came out. John Wall, you know what he does for a living? He's a butterfly farmer.
Yes, he is. I saw that in now that's an unknown fact. It wasn't until I saw his campaign ad, that I learned that he does that.
I met him and I said, well, who do you sell these butterflies to? And he said, I sell them all over the country. You know, every butterfly house, like they have a butterflies house at the Botanical Gardens here in town. You know, they're not just sending out people to nets to catch them, they're buying them from somewhere. And the other thing that I think is a card that Wes Allen is going to play, because it's a card that plays well in Alabama, and he was a former wide receiver for the University of Alabama football team.
Oh, there we go, the football.
Play the football card in Alabama, and it always comes out. On the Democratic side of the House, Philip Ensler kind of won that one hands down. So that's who's going to be. That's who that one will be.
Right. And then, going back to the Senate race, we have Everett West, who's an attorney. That's the runoff for the Democratic Party, Everett West. And then you have Dakarai Lariat, who came in 29%. West came in at nearly 40%. So we'll see a runoff there.
Well, let's talk about the GOP side for a bit. Barry Moore had 30. By the way, the polls have since changed on this. The vote was Barry Moore had 39% and Jared Hudson had 25%. As of the most recent polls, they're tied, and that is most interesting because Barry, they're tied. It's 38-38 with. No real, a whole lot of people undecided. Moore got the endorsement from Trump. Jared Hudson didn't. But Jared Hudson has been aggressively putting some TV commercials out there. But the one guy that has been on our show a bit is Republican candidate Seth Burton. He didn't do too well, but I've had him on the show 3 times. He's a very reasoned man. Commanded 2 nuclear submarines, retired captain in the Navy, and he's smart. And he has agreed to start coming on this show regularly for a little segment called Eye on Washington. So keep his name out there in the public eye. And I think you mentioned Everett. They're in a runoff. Everett Weiss and Dakarai Lariat.
Lariat, yes. I did mention them. And from my recent polling as of the 21st. So it may have changed since then, but Wes is at 39.6 and Lariat is at 29.1. So we'll see a runoff.
Oh, by the way, folks, when is that runoff? It's going to be June 16th. And one of the things about a runoff in the state of Alabama, and, I used to do the political thing as a lobbyist for the housing industry, is the turnout. I think the turnout this time is only 26% of Alabamians are registered to vote, and 20% of the 26% turned out to vote. Is the numbers I saw. They may or may not be correct, but that's pitiful. That's absolutely pitiful. That's a bad reflection on our state. People need to vote.
Well, I'm shaking my head because of the low turnout. Yes, but I know historically during midterm elections, the voter turnout has always been lower compared to the general election, which, you have to think about how rules, laws, ordinances even start at the local level. And so that's why it's important for citizens to understand that even at the local level, your vote counts, not just when it's the general election on the federal level. And I don't know. We'll see how things turn out for the actual midterm election. The primary is just as important, but we'll see how things turn out come this November.
Well, the point I was leading into with the low voter turnout, we think it was low during the primary. It's going to be even lower during the runoff because it's a kind of a historical thing, talking about historical trends in elections.
Sure.
Most of the times in a runoff, the candidate who comes in second their voters give up. And they just say, well, he didn't win, and she didn't win. What's the point in going out and trying again? So, but to your point, how does your vote really count? The most important bang a voter gets for their buck is in the local elections when they're voting for city council. We've had some city councilmen on here who say, hey, our election was won by 100 votes or something like that. And you saw what happened in Falkville, right? Mm-hmm. Falkville, for our listeners who aren't tracking that, Falkville has about 1,100 residents, and they voted wet or dry, which is the thing very unique to the South, and it passed wet by one vote.
It did.
And I'm just wondering if that one person who that might have been said, yeah, well, I think I'm going to go and have a drink before I vote, and boom, voted for wet. So we'll see what happens in good old Falkville. What else were you tracking on the election side of things?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So as of today, we've learned that 3 federal court judges rejected the map, the original map back in 2023 for a second congressional map, black majority map. They rejected the Republicans' redrawing of the map, which is interesting because we know that ultimately the Supreme Court, if it gets that far, the Supreme Court will decide if that will still stand. But it's just another turn of events. We don't know what's going to happen next. It's just kind of been a flip-flop of, okay, well, this is what our map currently is based off of the 2023 decision. And now, the Republicans went back and redrew the map, and 3 federal judges said no. So we'll see. I will say this whole election cycle, at least for the midterms, has been, I would say, unprecedented.
I would say screwy because this whole thing, it's even kind of hard to keep track of all the court decisions that have been going on with this. It's like, okay, now what are you going to appeal it again? It's going to go back and forth. And one thing I did a little research on that is a lot of people who are of one persuasion will say, well, that court is just biased with Biden judges. That's not true. The 3 judges that made that decision, 2 were appointed by Trump and 1 was appointed by Clinton. So I don't know what that says other than that's who got them their judge.
Well, I'll bring it back full circle. When you talked about the voter turnout, one would also wonder if because of what happened with the redistricting and the redrawing of the maps, if it discouraged voters because of the mass confusion and, as you say, quote, screwy. I wonder if that had any bearings on people deciding to vote on the 19th.
Well, in this case, I don't necessarily think so because those weren't voted on during this primary election. They took them off the ballot and they were going to vote on them in August 11th. But I don't know what Seth Burton said when he came on the show is he said that one of the concerns he has is that the electorate is losing faith in the voting process. And maybe that happened.
And in some of those races, the endorsement by Trump was a kiss of death.
Well, it certainly
It certainly didn't carry the weight that it would have 2 years ago or even 6 years ago.
Well, it was not the kiss of life for Barry Moore and John Wall, who both got endorsed, and now they're in runoff. So I don't know how this thing's going to come out. I looked at the redistricting thing, and right now, everybody from the governor to the attorney general to the secretary of state, they're all saying we're going to immediately appeal this. And they appealed it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court kicked it down to the lower court, and the lower court says go back the other way, and now they're going to appeal it again to the Supreme. It's maybe screwies, and probably
That's a much nicer word than the one I used.
Probably confusing.
I say unprecedented.
That's a nicer word too.
I think
that's a nice word.
Well, I mean, the fact that the Republicans were salivating and wasted zero time going to get these maps redrawn, and to get that, and just I'm glad the federal court pumped the brakes and said, hey, wait a minute, and that they it got upheld by the Supreme Court. So I think I'm hoping that cooler heads will prevail and we do a better job of going through this process instead of immediately scrambling with an old map to go back to the way it was.
Well, one thing I'm going to try to do, and I haven't found this person yet, but the one thing I want to do, and I've asked this question to quite a few people I've had on the show, is this: how should districting be done? What should be taken into account to draw the maps? I haven't got a straight answer yet, so that'll be interesting if I can find that out. And I'm not going to be able to do it this week, but I promised our listeners I will try to find out a legitimate answer to that.
And going back to Seth, when Seth Burton was here this most recent time, I believe, he was talking about, went out from the customer service angle, talking about the federal representation, just that, there's too few representatives or too many people. And so it's like having bad customer service. There's not enough representatives to take care of all the customers. And maybe that, I would dare say that Alabama has the same problem. Well, it's got too few representatives.
Kanisha, you weren't privy to that conversation, but one of the things we explored on the show was the representation ratio in the original Constitution of how many people did George Washington think we should have representative per residence. Mm-hmm. He said 1 to 40,000. You want to guess what it is now?
Oh, no. I'm not going to even play that numbers game.
It's now 1 to 780,000. And what Mr. Burton said when he was on the show is that the thing we need to think more about is, instead of how we should, draw these district lines, is we need to have more representation. And that way, if you had more representation, even I did some math, if you brought it to 1 to 350,000, it would add quite a few seats to the House, but that would probably make representation equal. But that isn't going to happen, so we'll see what happens. But hey, all we can do now is track it and speculate on it, but there's other things happening in the news. You were tracking a story that was happening where, over in Athens?
Yes. So Athens City Council is having their meeting tonight. However, we caught word, and this is part of our reporting from yesterday, that the NAACP planned to attend the meeting because of a sewer issue that happens in a particular area of Athens, like the Lindsay Lane area, Strain Road. As we know, Athens is growing by leaps and bounds, just like
everything else,
Huntsville metro area, or what have you. And this is a story we actually been covering for like 4 years now. So, but anyway, the point I'm making is that they're showing up because they want to reach a resolution as to how they can fix this sewage issue that's happening in this part of their community. Again, Athens is growing by leaps and bounds. And the thing is, they feel, in essence, that they're being left behind as the city begins to grow and adds more developments, adds more jobs. And part of the problem is when it's a rainy day like yesterday, I believe it's Strain Road, Lindsay Lane or Strain Road, where there's like an excessive amount of flooding. And I remember because when they first started bringing it to our attention, one of the residents had sent us a message via Facebook and email about what's going on. And I came out to a resident's home and I saw the flooding, and it was pretty bad. So we did reach out to the city, and the city responded, and they said they plan to work on, or at least continue to have a conversation with the residents and work on that area of problems as it relates to the sewage. So it's been 4 years later. This is since I last reported it, and we'll see what they bring at tonight's city council meeting and what the city says. But it's been a long-standing issue.
Well, what's hard to come to grips with on something like that is issues such as sewage are public health. And I would have to think there's some sort of public health entity that would regulate that. All you'd have to do is say, hey, look what's happening here. Here's the measurements. Here's what our meters say. You need to get this fixed. So I don't know. That seems like that ought to, whatever's going on there, if somebody has the right amount of information, that ought to be something that's easily remedied. It's hard to believe that something like that has drug out that long, but obviously if you reported on it 4 years ago and they're still fighting the battle, then it's still being fought. So, Brian, do we need to take a break now? And
Yes, we do.
Can you stick around, Kanisha, or have you got to go back to the newsroom?
Oh, yeah, I can stick around.
Okay.
Please don't leave me with him.
Nobody wants that. All right, we'll take a break and we'll be back for a few more minutes with Kanisha Dees.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the Valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
This is Bill Crawford, host of The Point on Talk Radio WZZN. I've recently had a stem cell procedure on my right knee from Dr. Charles Lee of Regenesis. Stem cells are harvested from your body and re-administered back into your body. This approach is painless, quick, and requires no lengthy rehab. My knee feels better already. Regenesis is located at 4025 Pepperwood Circle Southwest, Suite C, Huntsville, Alabama. Call 256-715-8193 or Google their website for more information.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Before you build, know the ground beneath you. OMI Incorporated has been North Alabama's trusted name in geotechnical engineering for over 30 years. We provide subsurface investigations, environmental consulting, and construction materials testing to keep your project moving forward with confidence. Commercial, industrial, and public projects, OMI has the experience to get it right. OMI Incorporated. Experience below the surface. Visit omi-eng.com. or call 256-837-7664.
The Orthopedic Center. It's in the name. TOC, the premier choice for all your orthopedic needs. With over 40 physicians and 20 centers of excellence, TOC is the name to trust for complete, expert orthopedic care. And that word center, we mean it. With more than a dozen locations across North Alabama and the Tennessee Valley, TOC is in your community whenever you need us. As the state's largest orthopedic practice, TOC is built on trust. Trust we've earned with every patient we serve. You can see that trust on the field, too. As the official sports medicine provider for the Huntsville Havoc, Huntsville City Football Club, Oakwood and Alabama A&M universities, thousands of athletes and coaches count on TOC to keep them in the game. From student athletes to unexpected injuries, our urgent ortho clinics offer prompt, expert care. No appointment necessary. So remember, when it comes to your health and mobility, trust the name that says it all. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Cummins has kept the world running for more than 100 years. Since their founding in 1919, Cummins has been dedicated to leading the charge towards a future with smarter, cleaner power. Cummins sales and service locations are right where you need them when you need your engine or generator set service. And now, Cummins has a new Huntsville branch opening June 10th. They're located on Highway 31 in Tanner, just north of Calhoun College. Cummins expert technicians will keep you up and running. Call them at 205-808-2210.
Your Fox 54 update.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy and overcast sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms are going to remain possible across the Tennessee Valley. That sort of activity is going to stay in the forecast through the afternoon, the evening, and then even as we head into the overnight. Rinse and repeat for your Wednesday. A mostly cloudy and overcast sky. Temperatures upper 70s, lower 80s with scattered showers.
Your Fox 54 forecast. Only on Talk Radio WZZN.
Welcome back, everybody. This is The Point with Bill Crawford, producer extraordinaire Brian Temple, and Miss Kenesha Dees in studio with us. And I think we've covered all the serious news that causes us to furrow our brows and go, what the heck's going on in this state? So let's talk about some of the stuff that's not that bad. Tell us a little bit, Kenesha, about this grand opening that you are tracking.
Well, I'm actually really excited to talk about this because we, for a while, have been discussing new stores, new developments that have hit the Rocket City, and at some point, they were the first in the state. However, I'm happy to announce that Nordstrom Rack is headed to Huntsville in 2027. Yeah, it's funny because I was just talking to a colleague about, like, Huntsville's growing, but a Nordstrom Rack would be nice here. And then here we are. Nordstrom Rack is coming. It's expected to come spring of 2027. This is something that actually was just announced today. And it's expected to be located in the University Plaza, off University Drive and Mid-City Drive. So it'll be in that area, and it's expected to be, according to our reports, 24,000 square foot store. Now, is Nordstrom's Rack, is that ladies' clothes, men's clothes, children's clothes, yes, all of the above? Yes, all of the above. I'm a fan of it. When I went back home, when I used to live in South Florida, my sister and I, we went to Nordstrom Rack, and there was like an actual bistro inside. Oh, really? Yes. I don't know if this one will have a bistro, but they don't just have clothes. They have food. The one that we went to out in South Florida. Well, I have never been to one before. I thought Nordstrom, I think it started out in the Seattle area. Yeah, yeah. And now it's coming here to Huntsville. So that's yet another sign that we are moving up in the world. And here's another one. This is something we talked about a little bit on the break that I have never heard of before. And that's Huntsville. It's called Perseus. Perseus Sound Bar is opening in Mid-City. And a sound bar, it says it's a vinyl bar. And
sounds like you drink liquor and listen to vinyl records.
Yeah. It sounds like, I've got boxes of vinyl records.
When do we leave?
I don't know. Let's
go right over there. Get the truck.
Let's go right now.
Happy hours earlier today.
Come on, Kenesha. I got room in the truck for you, too. Come on.
So any other cool things that you know of that are happening in the Huntsville area?
Well, for me, that's
good enough, huh?
That's you know what? That's good enough. That just really just made. I was so happy that I shared it with one of my colleagues. I was like, "Stop! This is not a drill. Like, this is a real deal. This is really."
Are you pulling my leg? No,
yes. And I like how you mentioned that Nordstrom is Seattle based because, again, when we go back to when LL Bean is official here in Huntsville, that's Northeast based.
Bean is Maine.
Massachusetts. Was it Maine or Massachusetts?
Land's End is Minnesota.
What's that?
LL Bean is Maine.
Maine, yes.
Land's End is Minnesota.
And IKEA, that's for sure is Sweden, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yes. I forgot about
the meatballs,
IKEA.
Yeah, that's for sure Sweden.
Very hate of you.
Well, there is another thing that I noticed that's happening in Ditto Landing, and this is probably something that I don't think I will ever use, and that is Ditto Landing received a $5,000 grant from the Alabama Scenic River Trail to add a kayak launch. Are you a kayaker?
I have never gone kayaking, no, but
it is a ton
I have
of
a great
fun.
reason to start.
It's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
It really is. If you like the water.
I do.
And the thing I like about a kayak better than a canoe is you don't have to rely on somebody else to help you paddle. It's just you.
Well,
so they're not splashing water on you. You're just doing it yourself.
The only time I've ever been in a kayak, and I'll use a good old Southern word here that doesn't exist in the rest of the world, is I tumped over.
Oh.
You ever heard tumped?
No.
Yeah, that's.
They'll have to add
I don't
that
think she's
to the
as Southern as we are.
You've heard that word before, Brian?
Yes, I have.
Oh.
Yeah, we got out in the boat, and the boat tumped over.
It tumped over.
You can actually look it up, and it actually is true.
You tump over and whop your head.
Oh, I bet. Are y'all going to cover the Army's 251st birthday on June 6th?
Funny story. I would imagine we would.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I say back in the day, like couple years ago, our station partnered with the Arsenal to do the annual birthday in June, and like our station would show up, and there'd be like the birthday cake, and then they'd use the sword to cut the cake, and I would imagine somebody would cover it, but. When I say back in the day, there was actually a partnership with us and the station. So I'm very well familiar with that, is what I'm saying.
Well, if you're interested in going to that this year, it's going to be at Gate 9, which is Research Park, called the Huntsville Gateway. And if you've been out there lately, you look around and go, God, I remember when I was here in 1988 to 1992 as a captain in the Army, and you'd go in that gate, you'd look left and right, and all you'd see were fields and cows. Not anymore.
Yeah, there was nothing out there.
Nothing at all. Now it looks almost like another part of the city. So I guess we got to get out of here. But hey, thank you for coming by today and accommodating my mistakenly sent text message. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, he always
You're
behaves
forgiven.
better. He's always behaves better when you're here.
Well, I'm so happy to be here, gentlemen. Thank you. It's always a pleasure just talking and filling folks in, those who are listening, on what's going on locally and how it's impacting us statewide too.
And frankly, nationally.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and take a break, Kanisha, and I will escort you out of here. And thank you for coming by today.
You're always a pleasure. Gentleman. Thank you.
And next week, I'll tell you 16 pages of bathing instructions.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
Bill Crawford here for the Regenesis Stem Cell Center, the place to go for golfers' elbow pain. Traditional treatments require significant time away from the golf course and often don't work. Dr. Charles Lee can treat golfers' elbow using platelet-rich plasma extracted from the patient's blood and get you back on the golf course after a 2-hour visit. Golfers' elbow can be permanently eliminated for a fixed price of $585. Golf season is here. Enjoy pain-free golf with just one visit to Regenesis.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the Valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
This summer, we make HVAC history as Sensagreen Heating, Cooling, and Insulation celebrates our country's 250th birthday. Happy birthday, America! In honor of crossing the Delaware River and kicking Cornwallis out of Yorktown, Sensagreen now offers $1,776 off new HVAC systems. Give me liberty and a new HVAC smart system this summer at Sensagreen with Brian. Whatever it takes, just like our founding fathers. USA! USA! USA!
Alabama license number 12705/52808.
On Saturday, May 30th, the best wrestlers on the planet take flight in Rocket City. The high-flying action of AEW returns to Huntsville for the first time in over 1 year. Saturdays are for Collision. And on Saturday, May 30th, Huntsville is all elite. AEW Collision, live from Von Braun Civic Center. Tickets on sale now, starting at just $20 at AEWTIX.com.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
When a team sticks together, it shows in the way they work and the way they treat you.
We don't just hire great people, they stay. On average, our managers have been with us over 15 years, and company-wide turnover is under 3%.
It's a culture built on integrity and heart.
When you call, you get someone who knows your name, understands your business, and is invested in your success.
And that means service you can count on every time.
Baumhauer's Restaurant, legendary food and legendary fun. Whether you're craving the freshest seafood from Alabama's Gulf Coast, juicy chicken or char-grilled steaks seared to suck into perfection, you're craving Baumhauer's Restaurant. Add to that a sports-themed atmosphere and HD flat screens every place you look. For a sneak peek at the menu, go to baumhauers.com. Legendary food, legendary fun. Baumhauer's Restaurant.
Your home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas is Talk Radio WZZN.
He's still a soldier. His blood runs red, white, and blue.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bill Crawford. This is The Point with me, Bill Crawford, and producer extraordinaire Brian Temple. A couple of things today, just in case you weren't tracking it. Today is National Cherry Dessert Day, and if I can find one somewhere today, I will be glad to have one. Didn't get one at lunch. I went by Rolo's, and they didn't have any cherry cobblers. So.
Oh, no.
No.
Remember the cherry pie and the strawberry pie back in the day when we had a Shoney's here? I still think about it.
When I was a little kid growing up, we would go to Nashville and from Lawrenceburg and go to Shoney's specifically to get the strawberry pie.
Yep.
It was awesome. And also today, if today happens to be your birthday, you share it with Hank Williams Jr. And Brian, you want to feel old? Hank Williams Jr., 77 years old.
My goodness.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that long
Looks every
ago.
bit of it.
He looks every bit of it.
Of course, he had to fall off a mountain to look like that, so I'm not going to throw anything.
Well, not only that, he earned it, and hanging out with all his rowdy friends who have now settled down. I guess he has settled down too. So Hank Williams Jr., 77 years old. He used to be one of my favorites, but I hadn't heard anything from him in years. Guess he don't sing anymore.
No, he just hangs out in his farm in South Alabama. Goes fishing and
has
out.
Buttermilk and cornbread instead of Jim Beam, I guess. So.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, well, hey, do we need to get out of here?
Well, a quick breaking news. Some of you may have seen something on Facebook about some rolling black brownouts in South Huntsville. Just talked to Joe Gertis over at Huntsville Utilities. That is fake. It is not caused by the big Meta data center in North Huntsville. They get their power directly from TVA. Huntsville Utilities had some weather problems, though, so that's probably what it was.
This is Talk Radio WZZN.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Favorite jeans, favorite shirt. Yakinick sausage and I'm firing it up. Yeah, everybody knows that's how I get my grill on. You can smell that flavor up and down the road. It's a little taste of heaven, and everybody knows. That's how I get my grill on. Kanaka sausage. It's just a little taste of heaven.
HD 97.7.2 WZZN FM Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. Talk Radio WZZN.
300 each for litters.
I'm Stuart Varley, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages are mixed in afternoon trading on AI optimism and as oil prices fall on Iran peace hopes. Among the 11 S&P 500 sectors, tech is the best performer as chip and memory stocks rally, led by Micron Technology. Its stock is surging over 16% and trading above $1 trillion market capitalization for the first time and on track to surpass Walmart as the 11th largest U.S. company. Energy and consumer staples are falling, and consumer confidence declined slightly this month as gas prices stayed high and inflation remained elevated. The Conference Board Consumer Confidence Index slipping in May, the first decline after 3 months of gains. And shares of BP are sliding 4% following news that its board has removed Chairman Albert Manifold due to unacceptable governance oversight and conduct issues. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment.
This is Talk Radio, WCZN.
1819 News.
Alabama's unemployment rate has increased for the month of April. The rate has come in at 2.8% compared to 2.7% for the month of March. The unemployment rate is still lower compared to the rate of April 2025, which came in at 2.9%. The number of people in Alabama who are currently holding jobs is over 2.3 million. 79% of prime age workers who are between the ages of 25 and 54 are all working at jobs. The Secretary of the Alabama Department of Workforce, Greg Reed, said that construction and manufacturing were among the most vital sectors in the state's economy. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Some of the greatest blessings is just having people that care about you, to have someone that's just going to love you and make you feel important. They encourage you to be in church. They encourage you to be in prayer. They encourage you to be in your Bible. Now it's a part of my day every day. My house parents planted seeds in me that you can see where those seeds have sprouted in my life and helped change my life.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
The wife of a sheriff-elect here in Alabama has been charged with a misdemeanor for domestic violence. 36-year-old Aggie Hunt was arrested by Opelika police on Memorial Day. Aggie Hunt is the wife of Cam Hunt, who recently defeated the incumbent Lee County sheriff during the Republican primary election that occurred on May 19th. Cam Hunt said that everyone in his family is fine and that this is a deeply personal matter for him to take care of. No other details regarding this arrest have been released. The speechwriter for Martin Luther King Jr. has died at the age of 95. Clarence B. Jones helped draft the MLK speech, I Have a Dream. Jones was at an assisted living facility in California when he died. He had worked in that state for decades as an entertainment lawyer. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This is Talk Radio, WCZN.
We have been selling printer supplies for 50 years. Today, we've made it easier than ever to make sure our customers get the best price and the best support.
You can order supplies online with our guaranteed low prices, saving 40% and getting our award-winning on-site service for free.
There's no catch. Ask any of our customers. We want to be more than just a vendor. We want to be a partner in your success.
Hey, I'm Bobby White, and our employee pricing for everyone is in high gear right now at Lynn Layton Ford in Decatur. That's right, everyone in the Tennessee Valley can get our special Ford employee pricing on over 280 available new Fords. Save up to $15,000 off MSRP on remaining new 25 F-150s and up to $8,000 off MSRP on new 25 Broncos. With your good credit, you can save thousands with financing as low as 0% on select new models. And always remember, Lynn Layton Ford will never charge you any mysterious dock fee or some hidden markup. It's simple. You pay what we pay on 280 new Fords. That's right, $15,000 off MSRP on new 25 F-150s. $8,000 off MSRP on new 25 Broncos, or lock in 0% financing on select new models. Come see us at Lynn Layton Ford, right in the heart of Ford country, just a mile south of the Beltline indicator, or online anytime at lynnlaytonford.com.
You've been paying on that life insurance policy for years, but maybe you don't really need it anymore, or it's gotten a bit too expensive. Well, before you just let it expire, let Neighbors Insurance Solutions share with you some alternatives that you haven't considered. Don't throw away something that still may have great value for you. If you want to learn more about what Neighbors Insurance Solutions can do for you, call 256-763-7693. A death benefit could be a life benefit. Learn more at 256-763-7693.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. I know your accident is the real thing, and they happen to real people.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. There's a lot of talk right now about bigger, but when you've had a wreck, is bigger better?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. Do you want to be just a case number?
With offices in Huntsville and Scottsboro, we take the time to help.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Your Fox 54 update.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We stay warm and humid as we head into the overnight. We also maintain an opportunity for some rain. Temperatures dropping into the upper 60s. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky for your Wednesday. Upper 70s and lower 80s. Scattered showers going to be possible through much of the afternoon and the evening. We'll do it all over again on Thursday.
Your Fox 54 forecast. Only on Talk Radio WZZN. This is The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN. A compassionate, conservative, reasoned voice. Not just for today's headlines, but for issues that matter to you. Perspective from a distinguished career of service in the U.S. Army. Courage from hours in the pilot seat of a military helicopter in war and in peace. Knowledge of cultures from around the world. Experience from a lifetime of service to America. What matters to you, from the dinner table to the halls of power. Conservative, compassionate, reason. That's The Point.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Talk Radio WZZN, and this is The Point with Bill Crawford. Give us a call, 256-382-0724. I don't give that number out often enough, but I'm going to start doing a better job of that. And sometimes on a show like this, you take a stand on an issue, and sometimes you try to report and explain. Right now, I'm going to try to do a little reporting and explaining on an issue that I've been having trouble understanding. I may not get it totally right, but I'm going to give it a shot. And that is the President Trump's anti-weaponization fund, which is a pretty much almost a $2 billion federal program that is related to the lawsuit Donald Trump filed against the IRS. So what exactly is this? Well, Trump filed a $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS and Treasury Department earlier this year. The lawsuit said the government didn't protect his confidential tax records after they were leaked a few years ago. Trump, his sons, and all his organizations argued that the leak caused big damage both reputationally and financially. And then it gets interesting. Instead of the lawsuit continuing in court, the Department of Justice negotiated a settlement arrangement. Under the arrangement, Trump agreed to drop the lawsuit, and in exchange, the Justice Department announced the creation of what it's now calling the Anti-Weaponization Fund, which is $1.776 billion. So what is this fund for? And again, I'm not taking his point for or against, I'm just reporting. The stated purpose of this fund is to compensate Americans who claim they were targeted politically or persecuted by the federal government. The administration says that people who had this happen to them were harmed by political motivation, IRS actions, and many other things. So who can apply for this money? Well, according to the Justice Department, individuals who believe that they were victims of what this lawsuit is calling government weaponization can submit claims to a 5-member commission that will oversee this program. 4 of those commissioners were appointed by the Attorney General and can be removed by the President. The 5th member is selected in consultation with congressional leadership. And what applicants for this money must do is provide documentation showing that they suffered financial harm, reputational damage, legal expenses, or other losses resulting from actions by federal agencies. The commission will then review those claims and determine whether or not they will be compensated, and they also may be issued a formal apology for the federal government. However, the standards on this are vague. I couldn't find anything really concrete. The oversight is weak, and it's not a lot of public scrutiny involved in this whole process. And this commission has to report quarterly, but it only goes to the Attorney General and is not released publicly. So something like this, to my research, has never happened before. But the question I had is this law? Is this actually legal? And the answer is complicated. Brian, you got a point on this?
Yeah, it's a load of crap.
Well, again,
no. What it is, it was originally done as a fund to compensate January 6 rioters, January 6, 2021. All the people who had a peaceful protest at the Capitol when they were certifying. No, all these guys going like honky Kong over the wall, going in there and smearing poop in offices and charging over there. People died, cops died, and it's for them. If we're not going to compensate and take care of the people from the Epstein files, they've done the names and addresses of the victims and redacted all the perpetrators. If we're not going to take care of those ladies and the other people done from that, you cannot compensate these people. It was not a peaceful protest. It was a riot, and it was incited by the president.
All right, well, hey, let me get back to discussing this a little bit, and that is Congress didn't pass it. There was no vote in the House or Senate. It's just executive authority that's making this thing happen. So it's not a law. It wasn't passed by Congress. It's currently a legal settlement between the executive branch and the IRS. A lot of lawsuits are already popping up on this to challenge the legality of that. And you mentioned officers that were harmed in the attack. Two police officers have filed lawsuit already to stop this program. And as a part of this, Trump and his companies dismissed their lawsuit against the IRS, but the agreement still goes on. This is an unusual development, to say the least. Some IRS officials say the president doesn't have the authority to do this.
It doesn't matter. He'll just fire him.
Well, maybe so. But again, I'm not taking this. I'm just reporting what I've found out about this. And some supporters of Trump say that the president was victims of motivated investigations, leaks, and persecutions, and they say this is a means to create funds for those who've been persecuted by federal governments. And the opponents argue the opposite. They say the president is using a taxpayer-funded compensation system controlled by political appointees while ending oversight in tax matters. So, whether you support Trump or oppose him, this is a case that brings to just about a lot of questions. One, what's it really for? Two, is it legal? Is this thing something that should have happened or shouldn't happen? Where's it going to go from here? I don't know. It's a confusing issue to me, and Brian, you may be right. It may have been started to just compensate the people who said they were harmed from January 6th.
Well, no, that's what it originally was done, and they made the wording a little more vague to take the heat off of that argument. But that's why it was created. I mean, come on. Look, it's $1.776 billion, 1776 for the 250th anniversary. Come on.
Hey,
it's all showboating.
I didn't catch the 1776 part.
Yeah, because for the longest time it was 1.8 billion. 1.8. No, it's 1,776,000,000. 1776.
Well, that's an interesting point. Like I said, I didn't catch
It's all show, but it's all performative. It's a way to funnel money to his cronies and to his buddies, all these people he whipped into a panic. They tried to kill Mike Pence. That was the point. They went looking for him. And if this all staged and everything, then why were there members of Congress hiding for their lives?
Well,
the current guy who took over at Department of Homeland Security, was hiding under his desk. Now he's in charge of Homeland Security.
Well, hey,
and so, no, don't call it fake and don't call it a peaceful protest. Everybody saw it. We watched it on television in real time.
Well, the one thing I mainly remember about that was the guy with the buffalo head on.
Yeah.
Who looked like the president of the fraternity in Animal House.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Hey, it's, I will say this.
Yeah, how many Antifas are in the room with you?
I don't know. And again, I'm not taking a position on this one way or the other. I'm just kind of reading some of the research I've done. And you may be right. I have no idea. But more to follow on this.
Well, I understand. And, you know, I realize I'm coming on strong. And it's not at you. It's this is crap.
Well, hey, if you're passionate about it, that's okay.
And you know what? Tell me I'm wrong. 256-382-0724 at Talk Radio WZZN on socials. We're running right now on YouTube, The Point with Bill Crawford YouTube channel. We have a chat there. We're also on Facebook on the Talk Radio WZZN Facebook page. Call and tell me I'm full of crap.
Hey, we'd love to hear from you.
I mean, you know what? You know what? All I'll say is thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening.
And speaking of listening, let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
I need to go take a pill.
And we'll come back and talk about some veteran stuff. Not controversial.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
This is Bill Crawford, host of The Point on Talk Radio WZZN. I've recently had a stem cell procedure on my right knee from Dr. Charles Lee of Regenesis. Stem cells are harvested from your body and re-administered back into your body. This approach is painless, quick, and requires no lengthy rehab. My knee feels better already. Regenesis is located at 4025 Pepperwood Circle Southwest, Suite C, Huntsville, Alabama. Call 256-715-8193 or Google their website for more information.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. I know your accident is the real thing, and they happen to real people.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. There's a lot of talk right now about bigger, but when you've had a wreck, is bigger better?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. Do you want to be just a case number?
With offices in Huntsville and Scottsboro, we take the time to help.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
AL cert number 21014.
Welcome into the hottest and coolest game show around called The Freeze. Today's contestant, Bob. Bob, can you tell me the heating and air business that provides free service with repair?
Is it Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
Can you tell me which heating and air business provides free second opinions?
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning.
You are a grand prize winner. You have won a visit from the #1 heating and air business in the Tennessee Valley.
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
That's right. Talent Heating and Air is coming to you.
This is Thomas with Talent Heating and Air Conditioning, and you don't have to win a game show to use us. We have free second opinions year-round, and this summer we're doing free service calls with a repair. So just remember, call Talent Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-503-4490 or visit us on our website at talenthvac.com.
For over 50 years, our mission, do the right thing and make long-term decisions. We value our customers, and we invest in supporting them.
TLG is consistently adding services to our own technologies to automate and provide the best support possible to you.
We have the strongest guarantees in the industry. You can't just tell people you're going to provide good support. You have to prove it with your actions.
Your home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas is Talk Radio WZZN.
Welcome back, everybody, to Talk Radio WZZN. If you like what you hear, if you got an opinion, give us a call, 256-382-0724. We would love to talk to you. But right now, as we always do on Tuesday afternoons in what I call Veterans Corner, we're going to have Miss Charlotte Robinson on, who is the director of the Tut Fan State Veterans Farm. Charlotte, are you with us?
I am. How are you doing?
I couldn't be doing better. And let me take just a moment to introduce you to our audience. Charlotte graduated from Athens State with a degree in business administration. She is a licensed nursing home administrator and has been in long-term care for over 30 years. 23 plus of those have been at the Tut Fan Veterans Home. She is employed by the Department of Veterans Affairs of Alabama as the director. She is responsible for the oversight of the contract management of the home, assisting veterans and families with applications, and maintaining the home, buying all the equipment that's needed, oversight of construction, and community outreach. She is married to Christopher Robinson, and they have 6 children, 4 grandchildren, and another on the way. 2 of her sons in the military, 1 in the Marines, and the other in the Army. Did I miss anything, Charlotte?
I think you got it all.
Well, let me ask you this. So I take it you went to Athens. Are you a native Huntsvillian?
I'm not, actually. I'm from over in Morgan County, born and raised over in a little town called Foxville. And so I commute into Huntsville daily.
Well, hey, that's close enough. No big deal. You
Yeah.
you don't have to be from here. So you went to Athens State and then later decided to get into nursing home management or administration. What
Right.
led you down that path?
I always had that desire to work with the elderly. And so started that very early on in my career. And I like to tell folks I started out when I was 12, because, I started out very young.
Well, what did you do at 12?
I flipped burgers at 12. No, I'm kidding. No, seriously, I did honestly start out very young. I was probably around 20 when I started out in long-term care, and I've been doing it ever since. And so I just enjoy working with the elderly and helping folks navigate that process because, nobody really wakes up one morning and says, hey, I want to go live in a nursing home. People want to be able to live on their own and do their own thing as long as they can. And we understand that, but we want to be there to help them through the latter part of their life and make it as high quality a life as possible.
Well, a question I would have about that, just kind of in general, before we get into a discussion about the Tut Fan Home, Long-term care you're correct. That's not something that people wake up and just say, hey, I better make sure I've got my long-term care planned for. So for just the average American citizen, let's say they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s, or 60s, whatever the case may be, what should people be thinking about and at that point in time as they're looking over their retirement planning or whatever they're doing for their future?
Make sure you invest in that 401k. You need to have your retirement. You need to be able to plan for yourself. Hopefully you're able to enjoy your retirement for years and years, but there is going to come a time, when our health starts to fail us and that we need help. And, of course, hopefully Medicare will still be around when we all get to that point, and we have Medicare, and hopefully a supplement to our Medicare. A lot of people go and get the Medicare Advantage plans, the HMOs and the PPOs, and while those are less expensive, they're not always as helpful when it comes to, in the long run, paying for services. You end up paying on the backside, paying heavy copays and things like that. So I would always recommend sticking with the good old-fashioned red, white, and blue Medicare and getting a supplement to go with that. That is something I would recommend. And people in their 30s and 40s probably are not going to understand that until they get to the point that they need Medicare or are eligible for Medicare. But when they do get to that point, that is what I would recommend. And then also, of course, like I say, just investing in your future. Yes, of course, we want to enjoy life now, but you've got to invest and make sure that you have a nest egg and that you can support yourself as we age, because it is very expensive when we get older, and it's nice to be able to potentially do, rather than having to go into a nursing home, maybe to do the assisted living or the independent living and have caregivers come at times, and you have a little bit more independence that way. So those are things that I would recommend.
Well, let me ask you this. Tell us a little bit about the development in the history of the Tut Fan State Veterans Home. When did that come into being, and what's its purpose?
Well, Tut Fan has been in Huntsville since 1995. A lot of people don't realize that we've been there that long, or that we're even there, honestly. There's a lot of people don't realize that we have a long-term care facility for veterans, and it's only for veterans in Huntsville. And we have a lot of veterans in North Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
And we are there to support them when the need arises. And so that's what we are there for, is to be there for them when they need us. And our facility here in Huntsville has been here since 1995, and we actually have 5 homes in the state of Alabama. We have a sister facility that's just like our facility was built in the same year in Bay Minette, Alabama. And then we also have one in Alexander City, one in Pell City, and one in Enterprise. And so we have facilities throughout the state to support veterans throughout the state of Alabama.
Now, are these facilities, were they funded by the government, by the VA, by private donations? How did they come into being?
Well, they are funded by the federal VA and the state of Alabama. Many, many years ago, the state of Alabama set up a Veterans Assistance Fund to support the state of Alabama, the veterans of the state of Alabama, and this is a very wonderful benefit for the veterans in Alabama. Each veteran, when they come to our homes, their room and board cost is very minimal. because we get funding from the federal VA and the state of Alabama, each veteran's out-of-pocket cost for their room and board for our facility is $11.64 a day.
Wow. What all does that include other than room and, is it anything besides room and board?
That's their room and board, that's their laundry, that's housekeeping services, basic nursing services, beauty and barber services, just a variety of things. That covers just everything. Things, for example, let me tell you things that are not covered under that.
Okay.
So things like their physician services, their therapy services, pharmacy services, labs and x-rays and things like that. Those type things would be billed to their insurance. So a veteran would still need to have that Medicare, like we discussed earlier. They need to have that Medicare and a supplement. Okay, a lot of our veterans are retired from the military, right? So they have TRICARE. So they're going to have Medicare and TRICARE, and that's going to cover those things at 100%. So their room and board averages out to about $350 a month at $11.64. If you multiply that times 30 days, it's about $350. And then the other things that I mentioned, the doctor's visits, labs, x-rays, therapy, all that's billed to their insurance, as is their pharmacy. And some veterans, and there's certain criteria that the VA covers their medications. And a lot of people would say, well, the VA covers my medications outside this facility. Why would they not necessarily cover it when I move into this facility? Well, federal VA has their different rules, and they have different criteria in which they cover medications in the facility. And I will say that 99% of our veterans' medications are covered by the VA while they are in our facility. But there are a few that are not.
Well, let me ask you.
So we bill that to their insurance. So.
Okay, another question I would ask about that is when you say it's a veterans facility, are there any there's so many veterans. Are there? And when I mention these, criterion, do they have to have their DD 214? Do they have to have been honorably discharged? Do they have to have a disability? Tell us a little bit about the criterion for a veteran to enter the home.
So the eligibility requirements are that they have served at least 90 days, and they have a DD 214, of course, that can show that, and that they were honorably discharged. And they have to be in need of skilled nursing care at the time that they apply, and they have to have been a resident of the state of Alabama for the past 12 months when they apply. And the reason for that particular eligibility requirement is because the state of Alabama does fund a portion of their stay there. We're taking Alabama tax dollars to pay a part of their stay there. So that's one of the reasons why that particular eligibility requirement is there. So that's pretty much it.
Now, if they have a disability rating of, I don't know, let's just say 50% as a ballpark figure, does that help alleviate some of the cost, or does that have any bearing on anything?
That is one of the reasons that the VA will cover their medication costs if they are 50% service connected. Now, they're service connected, any kind of monies they have coming to them continue to go to them, and they will get a statement from us each month, and they will pay the room and board amount from that. If a veteran is 70% service connected or greater, the VA covers their stay entirely. The federal VA kicks in and they cover that stay entirely. In other words, they don't pay the $11.64 a day. Okay, that is another benefit of the federal VA.
Well, that's quite a significant benefit, I would have to think.
It certainly is. And they do get to keep their money. Again, if they are service-connected disabled at 70% or greater. They do pay the room and board. They pay their stay there. They cover all their charges there, including the doctor's visits and all the therapy and things like that. And the veteran gets to keep their monthly benefit.
Well, I'm going to ask a question from naivete because I've just heard this. I don't know. I doubt this is something that's in your case, but I've heard stories of people saying, well, you know, my mom didn't transfer the house over to me, and the next thing I knew, they were coming after the house to pay for all the stuff. And is that kind of stuff actually true?
That is related to Medicaid.
Okay.
We don't participate in the Medicaid program at the Veterans Home simply because we don't need to.
Okay.
We have the federal and state funding through our Veterans Assistance Fund for the veterans, so we don't have to do that. And if a person is going into a community facility other than ours, they may be having to participate in the Medicaid program. If they're indigent and cannot pay what it costs in a long-term care facility. Most facilities at this point in time are anywhere between $8,000 and $10,000 a month if you're having to pay private pay. Most people can't afford that.
Yeah, I would think not.
And so, exactly. So what happens is they have to apply for Medicaid, and Medicaid comes in and says, okay, I will pay for you to be there, but you have to put up whatever you have and whatever assets you have towards your stay there. If you have a house that's in your name, there you go. They expect you to put whatever assets you have toward that.
Well, let me ask this just as another general question. Again, not my area of expertise. If a veteran and their spouse who is not a veteran, if are they eligible to cohabitate there, or is it just for the veteran only?
It is just veterans only.
Okay, not a criticism, just a curiosity. And how many rooms do you have, or how much capability?
We have a total capacity for 150 veterans.
And I would imagine it's full constantly.
We do stay of about 4 months.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. That's just very fascinating, and I really do appreciate that. But one thing I should have looked at this, and I didn't. But who was Tut Fan? Who is it named after?
It was named after Floyd E. Tut Fan.
Okay.
And don't ask me how he got the name Tut. I've asked that many times myself.
Hey, this is the South. This is the South. People get all kinds of nicknames.
Get nicknames all the time, but somehow when he was young, he got the name, like King Tut was very popular when he was younger, and somehow he got the name to King Tut, and it stuck until he was on up in years, and he's kept it, you know, and so unfortunately he was a very advocated for the facility, of course, to be in Huntsville. And unfortunately, he passed away in 1992 before the facility actually got to open. So he never got to see the home open, but he really advocated for us to have one here in Huntsville. I'm so glad that he did, because, my goodness, we have served so many veterans. And it's just been such a blessing to be able to work and be with so many veterans and help so many people and their families. If you ever come to our facility, we have a wall of honor that we have up when you come into the front of their facility. And it's a wall of honor of all the veterans that have been there and that's passed away, and we just want to remember them. And so we've got them on a plaque there at the front.
Well, let me ask you this, ma'am. If we have some listeners out there who might have a single veteran spouse and they're saying, you know, we're going to have to start thinking about this, where would they go to find out information about this? Do you have a good website, or do you have a counselor they could talk to?
Absolutely, absolutely. They can call us at the facility. Our phone number is 256-851-2807. They can go to our website at www.va.alabama.gov or come see us. We're at 2701 Meridian Street, Huntsville, and we'd be glad to chat with you and take you for a tour. A lot of people would want to know, what the place looks like when their loved ones are going to be going. And my coworker and I take folks for tours all the time, and we're happy to do so and answer any questions that people have. So that's part of what we're there for. And so we're happy to do that.
Well, that's just another example of why Huntsville, Alabama is a great community for veterans. It supports our veterans well, and that's one of the reasons why I have this segment on, being a veteran myself, I have this segment on my show on Tuesdays because we want to inform the veterans in our community of the stuff that they have available to them that they may not even know about. And I'm going to ask you for a favor, too. I need a point of contact about the cemetery if you could help me find one of those.
Yes. Well, Brandon Miller, I think I sent you his email, but he would probably be your best point of contact. The community meeting that I was telling you about for that is June the 18th at 6 p.m. at Madison County High School in the cafeteria.
Maybe I can make it to that. That probably would be where I need to go. So, hey, Ms. Roth, thank you so much for your time. It's great to hear about this facility, and I hope that our listeners who might have a need for this in the future were able to listen. And folks, if you didn't get to hear today, just go to our website, talkradiowzn.com, and you can find this conversation archived in our podcast. And I will send you the audio of this too, so you can use it as you see fit. So thank you much. We're going to go ahead and let you go. Appreciate it. That's Carolyn Robinson, the director of the Tut Fan Veterans Home. And Brian, let's go ahead and take a break, and we will come back.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
Bill Crawford here for the Regenesis Stem Cell Center, the place to go for golfers' elbow pain. Traditional treatments require significant time away from the golf course and often don't work. Dr. Charles Lee can treat golfers' elbow using platelet-rich plasma extracted from the patient's blood and get you back on the golf course after a 2-hour visit. Golfer's elbow can be permanently eliminated for a fixed price of $585. Golf season is here. Enjoy pain-free golf with just one visit to Regenesis.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Before you build, know the ground beneath you. OMI Incorporated has been North Alabama's trusted name in geotechnical engineering for over 30 years. We provide subsurface investigations, environmental consulting, and construction materials testing to keep your project moving forward with confidence. Commercial, industrial, and public projects, OMI has the experience to get it right. OMI Incorporated. Experience below the surface. Visit omi-eng.com. or call 256-837-7664.
Hey, I'm Bobby White, and our employee pricing for everyone is in high gear right now at Lynn Layton Ford in Decatur. That's right, everyone in the Tennessee Valley can get our special Ford employee pricing on over 280 available new Fords. Save up to $15,000 off MSRP on remaining new 25 F-150s and up to $8,000 off MSRP on new 25 Broncos. With your good credit, you can save thousands with financing as low as 0% on select new models. And always remember, Lynn Layton Ford will never charge you any mysterious dock fee or some hidden markup. It's simple. You pay what we pay on 280 new Fords. That's right, $15,000 off MSRP on new 25 F-150s, $8,000 off MSRP on new 25 Broncos, or lock in 0% financing on select new models. Come see us at Lynn Layton Ford, right in the heart of Ford country, just a mile south of the Beltline in Decatur, or online anytime at lynnlaytonford.com.
Cummins has kept the world running for more than 100 years. Since their founding in 1919, Cummins has been dedicated to leading the charge towards a future with smarter, cleaner power. Cummins sales and service locations are right where you need them when you need your engine or generator set service. And now, Cummins has a new Huntsville branch opening June 10th. They're located on Highway 31 in Tanner, just north of Calhoun College. Cummins expert technicians will keep you up and running. Call them at 205-808-2210.
Your Fox 54 update.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We stay warm and humid as we head into the overnight. We also maintain an opportunity for some rain. Temperatures dropping into the upper 60s. A mostly cloudy overcast sky for your Wednesday. Upper 70s and lower 80s. Scattered showers going to be possible through much of the afternoon and the evening. We'll do it all over again on Thursday.
Your Fox 54 forecast. Only on Talk Radio WZZN.
Welcome back, everybody. This is The Point, Talk Radio, WZZN, with me, Bill Crawford, and producer extraordinaire Brian Temple. Now would be a good time to give us a call if you want to, 256-382-0724, to chat about any of the topics we have discussed today. But in the few minutes we have remaining, I want to mention something that will probably have a direct bearing on Huntsville, Alabama, and that is the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense Interceptor, also known as THAAD. THAAD is, the DOD is making a huge investment down in Troy, Alabama, one of the places I used to fly into when I was learning how to fly helicopters, but they are investing $8 to $9 billion through 2030, and they've already put 1.25 to do it's called Building 47. It's going to be a huge manufacturing facility, 87,000 square feet in Troy. And what's going to happen is they're going to quadruple the THAAD interceptor program from 96 units a year to 400 units a year. And also what they're going to do is they're going to more than triple the amount of Patriot missiles to 2,000 units. So why does that have an impact on Huntsville, Alabama? Well, as I tell people from my old helicopter flying days, that Fort Rucker, Alabama is the muscle of Army aviation, but the brains is here in Huntsville. And it's the same thing with the missile community. The muscle of that THAAD interceptor, which is an awesome missile, is going to be down in Troy. By the way, look at property down there. You might be a good investment to make. But the brains of both the THAAD and the Patriot are right here in Huntsville, Alabama. So if they're going to make more of those down there, they're going to have more people up here to help plan and execute. Make no doubt about that. That is going to happen, and that's real good news for Huntsville. And, now we're going to be submarines, missiles, helicopters. What's happening next, man? I don't know. A couple of little items in the worldwide news. We always just wonder, at least I do, and how in the heck is this thing in Iran going to end? We're through with the discussion one day, and we're shooting at them the next. And that's what happened this weekend. We were told that we were just about through with negotiations of peace with that country. And yesterday, the U.S. struck Iranian targets on the Strait of Hormuz in what they called, quote, self-defense. They said they were shooting missile launch sites and Iranian boats attempting to emplace mines. To me, that doesn't sound like much progress towards peace talks, but that's what happened yesterday. And also on the war front, Russia said they're going to keep shooting at strategic centers in Kyiv. So the Ukraine war has kind of flown under the website, under the radar and the website, I guess, but it's still going on there.
Nothing like one war to distract you from another one, isn't it?
Hey, Teddy Roosevelt said there's nothing like a good little war for he said it, a bully little war. Mm-hmm. But I think he was thinking more like the raid on San Juan Hill down in Puerto Rico. I don't think he was talking about these missiles flying all over the place by any stretch of the imagination. So, but
never waste a catastrophe.
Never waste a catastrophe.
I was thinking about you the other day, or over the weekend. I was looking a little bit in an article about how they're having trouble coming up with the next generation after the Apache and Cobra helicopters, and that there are still some Cobras out there that are still in service, simply because it does what it does better than anything else has been offered.
Well, what actually happened on that is the Cobra helicopter, just real briefly, essentially you took a Huey, you took all the guts out of the Huey, kind of squished it down a little bit and put it in a Cobra. Same parts, same engine, same everything, a single engine helicopter.
Right.
And what the Apache is it's a dual engine helicopter.
Yeah.
And it has all different parts, all different this, all different that. If somebody would have died and left me, boss, I would have done what the Marines did, and the Marines said, hey, let's take the Cobra that's already got the same repair parts as the Huey, and they put 2 engines on the Cobra so it was redundant.
Yeah.
It wouldn't crash if one of the engines failed.
Right.
And the Marines had been using the double-engine Cobra attack helicopter the Apache's fine, don't get me wrong,
right.
I was always a fan of what's called commonality, where if you had one helicopter in the fleet, try to pattern the next helicopter after that, have the same repair parts. You don't have to train different types of mechanics because the aircraft are different. So,
well, I mean, we have not only Henry Ford but John Deere over in the ag side to talk about interchangeable parts,
right,
and how some things would stay from model to model, year after year. Some of the parts just stay the same, and to be able to support those, because I mean, especially on something like that, you're going to own it for multiple years, and you're going to work on it. Well, when you got the Hueys, well, gosh, even if you had to run out the junkyard and find some of this stuff.
Hey, the Huey stayed in service for 55 years. I flew it. It was a great aircraft. I flew the Cobra. That's just my opinion. But then again,
you just can't miss that thump, 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 thump of a Bell aircraft.
No, you can't. And then you get the politics of Bell, Boeing, Sikorsky. Who gets the contracts? It's a horse of a different color, as they say in The Wizard of Oz. So, folks, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up and come back and close it out.
And air cavalry, it's all the same color.
Hey,
green.
There you go.
You're listening to The Point with Bill Crawford on Talk Radio WZZN.
Take it right to the edge with Donato's Pizza. That's right, with Donato's, they don't waste any space. And if you're going to put 100 slices of pepperoni on a pizza, you need to go edge to edge. And that provolone cheese is smoked and aged in Wisconsin. All of Donato's produce comes from right here in the Tennessee Valley as well. And Donato's is more than just pizza. Check out the subs, calzones, and wings as well. 2 locations in the Valley to serve you, in Madison on Madison Boulevard and in Huntsville on the South Parkway. Donato's Pizza.
This is Bill Crawford, host of The Point on Talk Radio WZZN. I've recently had a stem cell procedure on my right knee from Dr. Charles Lee of Regenesis. Stem cells are harvested from your body and re-administered back into your body. This approach is painless, quick, and requires no lengthy rehab. My knee feels better already. Regenesis is located at 4025 Pepperwood Circle Southwest, Suite C, Huntsville, Alabama. Call 256-715-8193 or Google their website for more information.
This summer, we make HVAC history as Sensagreen Heating, Cooling, and Insulation celebrates our country's 250th birthday. Happy birthday, America! In honor of crossing the Delaware River and kicking Cornwallis out of Yorktown, Sensagreen now offers $1,776 off new HVAC systems. Give me liberty and a new HVAC smart system this summer at Sensagreen with Brian. Whatever it takes, just like our founding fathers. USA! USA! USA!
Alabama license number 12705/52808.
On Saturday, May 30th, the best wrestlers on the planet take flight in Rocket City. The high-flying action of AEW returns to Huntsville for the first time in over 1 year. Saturdays are for Collision. And on Saturday, May 30th, Huntsville is all elite. AEW Collision, live from Von Braun Civic Center. Tickets on sale now, starting at just $20 at AEWTIX.com.
Hey folks, Arthur Seed, managing partner at University Kia, letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama and Auburn football. Swing by University Kia today and check out our huge selections of brand new Kias, including the spacious Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the slick new K5, the sporty Kia Seltos. We've got perfect cars for every lifestyle and budget. Visit universitykia.com to view all our amazing offers and get pre-approved amenities, because we want to see you in a Kia. Roll Tide, War Eagle.
AL cert number 21014.
Welcome into the hottest and coolest game show around called The Freeze. Today's contestant, Bob. Bob, can you tell me the heating and air business that provides free service with repair?
Is it Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
Can you tell me which heating and air business provides free second opinions?
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning.
You are a grand prize winner. You have won a visit from the #1 heating and air business in the Tennessee Valley.
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
That's right. Talent Heating and Air is coming to you.
This is Thomas with Talent Heating and Air Conditioning, and you don't have to win a game show to use us. We have free second opinions year-round, and this summer we're doing free service calls with a repair. So just remember, call Talent Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-503-4490 or visit us on our website at talenthvac.com.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Your home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas is Talk Radio WZZN.
And I'm still hoping, waiting, praying I did not die in vain.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for listening to Talk Radio WZZN today, and The Point with both myself, Bill Crawford, and producer extraordinaire Brian Temple. We had Kenesha Dees with us today, and also Miss Charlotte Robinson with the Tut Fan Farm. If you're a veteran, I recommend, or if you have a veteran that you might think needs that facility, go to the talkradiowzzn.com page later on today and listen to this broadcast. Lots of good information.
You know, I drive past the Tut Fan Veterans Home every day on my way into work, and there's always somebody out there waving as the people go by. There's always residents there, or the staff will wave as they're going to and from their cars. It's a great facility, and if you have someone who has served, you could do very well by going and talking to the folks over at Tut Fan. We're looking at Trash Pandas tonight. Starts another run. They're at Montgomery this week, so we'll be on the air tonight at 6:20 for pregame. Easy for me to say. And first pitch is 6:35. Josh and the gang will be along here on Talk Radio WZZN.
Hey, folks, thanks for listening. Tune in the Trash Pandas, and we will be talking to you later on. This is Bill Crawford. Keep our veterans and all their family members in your thoughts and prayers, and our servicemen, and we will say goodbye right now. Brian, take us out of here.
The man who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt